Republican Senator Rick Scott from Florida announced this week that he was in fact running for re-election in 2024 instead of running for the White House, which I guess there had been some speculation in the pundit class that Rick Scott may run for president. I was never under that impression, so I was kind of shocked that this was even a story. But what's even more shocking is that not only did Rick Scott say, I'm not running for the White House, I'm running for Senate again, but he also said he's going to run on his hugely unpopular platform that he unveiled last February that calls for cutting Social Security and Medicare while also raising taxes on low-income Americans. A plan so bad that he was trashed by his own Republican Party, by conservative media, for even having the stupidity to put it out there. And he says, you know what? I'm a smart guy and I'm going to run on this horrible platform that everybody hated. And by the way, after this came out last year in February, when he released the plan, Democrats weaponized it, rightfully so, saying Rick Scott wants to raise your taxes. Rick Scott wants to cut your Social Security. Rick Scott wants to cut your Medicare. It's all right here in his plan. And it was. Because Rick Scott's plan calls for every single person in this country to at least pay some income tax. Which means you wouldn't be getting refunds. Now, you might still get a refund, but what that really means is that there are plenty of people in this country, millions of people, who make so little that because of the credits they receive, they end up getting more money back from the federal government than they pay in. Rick Scott's plan would do away with that. So these people would, in fact, have their taxes go up. And by the way, it's not that they're not paying any taxes. They're still paying Social Security. They're still paying Medicare. They're still paying, employment taxes. They're paying their property taxes. They're paying sales tax on everything. Everybody pays taxes. Okay, let's make that clear because Republicans seem to have a real problem with thinking that, not everybody pays taxes. Everybody pays taxes. You go up to the gas station and you buy a candy bar, you're paying tax. It's just idiotic to think that people don't pay taxes. But that is apparently what Rick Scott thinks, and he thinks it's a winning message down here in Florida. And the voters down here are stupid enough that it probably will be a winning message. Rick Scott is a guy with the company he was running, pulled off the largest Medicaid fraud in the history of the country, pleaded the fifth 75 times so as to not implicate himself in that scandal. And even after that became public knowledge, we voted for him. Now, I didn't. The state voted for him to be our governor for 2 solid terms, and then we sent him to the Senate. So at this point, I don't think there's anything Rick Scott can do to actually turn off the voters here in the state of Florida. I think it is what it is, and we're stuck with this horrible, ghoulish human being who wants to raise your taxes and cut our social safety net programs. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.